Hey there, Mr. Redder here. Welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled People Stories. Our first story we'll be reading today. Invited my neighbor to church, now she wants nothing to do with me. After that, am I the jerk for not wanting to be a dad? And after that, natural occurring colors? You got it. Now for every thumbs up this video gets, one Karen gets kicked off of Twitter. I prefer TikTok these days, to be honest. So please smash that like button and subscribe and turn on notifications for new stories from Reddit every single day. Invited my neighbor to church, now she wants nothing to do with me. My neighbor Emma and I, both 30-ish female, are on smile at each other and say hi how are you every time kind of talking terms with each other. It's generally a pleasant family, especially her daughter who has cerebral palsy and is as charming as any 10-year-old you would find. Saw Emma in their garden yesterday and I got to talking with her when she brought up how her daughter feels a little lonely at times because of being homeschooled and not having many friends around. Obviously, her condition means she can't go around to the park and play as much. Actually, she even prefers to stay at home reading or watching shows. She only maybe needs similar-aged people to talk to at times as she has no siblings. So I suggest that my neighbor attend church a few Sundays in order to avail a sort of service the local church provides, where they make book clubs or flower clubs or bake clubs by grouping together some of the kids who are interested from the community. So if she signs up Alex for such a thing, the church would send some potential friends to their house and do activities and have a chat with Alex. But the problem is that you can't just fill out a form for this. You have to go to church and talk a bit to some mothers or the pastor before requesting to hold the clubs at your own place. This is something people do for each other, and it will be unsafe to send anyone over to a stranger's house. Emma may as well stop going after assuring the other mothers that she is trustworthy. Emma got offended at this and told me not to try to lure her into my religion. Church was a personal choice and that she didn't want to become a fanatic by volunteering to be brainwashed every week. I am a practicing Christian, not very diligent in it though, but all I suggested was that she just make acquaintance enough at the church to help Alex make friends. Nevertheless, she called me a jerk for pushing religion on her and her daughter. Am I the jerk? You're the jerk. Don't take it personally, but activities at a church are centered around your beliefs, contrary to city or state-provided activities that are bent by the law to be inclusive of all. Also, the mother might think that exposing her kid to people that will tend to try to convince her to believe in your religion would not be good for her daughter. You're the jerk. The sad part is, you don't even realize how disgusting your actions were. You're using your neighbor's situation to try roping her into your own twisted beliefs. Don't be surprised when the whole neighborhood finds out what kind of a person you really are. When will you people learn that just because you believe in BS does not give you the right to force it onto people who actually have good hearts and care about the world? Ew. Yes. Don't try to lure people into your religion. And that church is pretty gross, only being interested in helping kids of families who are religious. You're the jerk. Religion is not a topic to approach lightly with someone you're just on a friendly, smile-based kind of thing. Yes, you're the jerk. That is exactly how it works. First, try to get them in your church, then do some activities, get attached to other people, and bam! Now you can as well convert if you want us to help you out further. You may have good intentions, but your neighbor is right to be suspicious. Well, who do you think is the jerk? OP or her neighbor? Please let us know. I've said it before and I'll say it again. If you love the Lord, good for you, but you probably don't want to talk about it on Reddit. They'll tear you a new one. Am I the jerk for not wanting to be a dad? I, male 29, had a kid when I was 19. I wasn't ready to be a dad, and I asked her to not go through with it. She refused and decided to keep it, so I agreed to pay child support, but I wouldn't be involved in her life. I didn't tell my family about any of this. Well now, after 10 years of this arrangement, just 3 months ago when I was at work, I received a barrage of angry messages from my parents asking me if I have a kid. Apparently, my ex had told them everything because she is sick and wants someone to look after the kid since her own family refused to do it. They were mad at me, telling me it was very selfish to hide their grandchild from them. I'm an only child and she is their only grandchild, so they agreed to look after the kid and brought her into our home. Yes, I live with my parents to help them with the expenses. I told them that I can't stop them from doing this, but I still don't want to be her dad, and they agreed. She has been living with us for the past 3 months, but everyone forgot about our agreement. 2 days ago, my parents left her with me to go somewhere. I told them I don't want to babysit, but no one listened to me. As soon as they left, she started coming into my room with different excuses. I finally got annoyed and told her to go to her room and not to come out until her grandparents come home. My parents come back and freaked out when they found out. They called me a jerk for being a horrible dad, but I never wanted to be a dad, and I made it clear several times. Am I the jerk? You're the jerk. The kid is 10 years old. Her mother is apparently so unwell that she has to reach out to literal strangers to ensure her kid gets care, and you can't even be civil for one afternoon. Have you even considered how the kid feels? You're the jerk. From a person to person, have you no civility? Must you be a miserable entity to a 10-year-old? What happened to you to make you so unkind? It appears OP hasn't matured much between the ages of 19 to 29 years old. Seriously, OP, I get you didn't want to have a kid, but you still partook in the decisions that led to this. Yeah, your parents are slightly the jerks for going back on their agreement, but you're taking this out on your daughter, whose mother is sick. So now this girl is without her mother and stuck with a father who's acting like an inconvenienced bratty teenager. She's 10. She's past the age of being a screaming kid you just have to clean up all the time. You can share hobbies and interests with her. Be a good, empathetic person, and maybe have her play some video games with you or something. Make her feel wanted. Your parents are already taking over the role of caring for her and parenting her. If you keep acting like this, she will never want anything to do with you in the future if you suddenly grow up and decide you actually want to be in her life. You'll also have very bad karma. Edit. And to everyone who's like, well, he's being forced to be a parent against his will, no, he's not. If he moves out of his parents' house, which at 29 years old he should be able to do, problem solved. If he's going to remain there, the least he can do is be kind and respectful to his daughter, not just tell her to be quiet and go to her room, making her feel even more unwanted than she already feels. Exactly. Countless kids were never planned, but you got this woman pregnant anyway. It no longer matters if you want to be a dad. You are a dad. Sure, you have the choice to abandon your daughter and be a deadbeat if you want, but then you have to live with the fact that you're a deadbeat, child support or not. Money may help a bit, but she's a human being and you're not there for her. You're an emotional deadbeat, and honestly, that's worse in my opinion. Money is not the most important factor when it comes to determining if you're a good dad. All the child support does is save yourself legally. Your parents are right, you are a horrible dad. Seriously, shame on you. Words cannot express how excruciatingly awful you are. You're the jerk. I completely disagree. Is OP a jerk for not being civil to a 10-year-old for a few hours? Sure. But he is not a jerk for not wanting to be a father. He already told the mother of the kid and his parents that he doesn't want a kid. He made that clear from the moment she got pregnant. He made that clear when his parents decided to look after the kid. Those are choices made by other people who were informed of the circumstances. He is not the dad to that kid. He's nothing more than a donor at this point. If you want to be a parent, good for you, but you don't get to judge other people who don't. He doesn't need to be there for her. The mother made the choice knowing she was going to be a single mother. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean this guy is a jerk. He told her he wants no part, she did it anyway, and he paid child support. OP's baby mama is a massive jerk. OP's parents are jerks, and OP is slightly a jerk for responding to the kid like that. OP did nothing wrong in regards to raising her. He doesn't owe her emotional support. You're the jerk. So move out. If you don't want to be a dad, go get your own place and pay the child support you paid your ex to your parents. They can also get help from the state as official foster parents, but might need to take courses. Your daughter needs someone to live with besides her mother who is sick. I would have reached out to extended family too if I was the only one able to care for my kid, and I was too sick to do so. Sending her to her room because she's such an inconvenience to you is such a jerk move. She's still a human being who recently was uprooted from a life that she knew. You're the jerk. I get that you never intended to be a dad, but the least you can do is now act like an adult. She didn't choose to be part of your life either. She's just trying to make the best of a new and probably very scary situation. As long as you're both living there, you've got to at least do the bare minimum, which means actually spending time with her instead of sending her to her room so that you don't have to deal with her. Everyone sucks here. I say all this as a woman. Your ex should have never contacted you from the start. You guys decided a long time ago that you wouldn't be involved, and she agreed. I feel for her being a single mother, and her family sucks, but ultimately she decided to take on the kid herself. She should have handled it by herself. Your parents suck for taking on the kid and not respecting your choice to not be involved. That all being said, this girl was brought back into your life, And while you may not like it, and while you don't have to act like a father to her, you're a jerk for treating her like a nuisance. This kid has done nothing wrong and had no choice in being brought into your home. Shutting her out is just messed up on a human level. Again, you don't have to be her father. You should have looked at this like she was your niece or something and treated her with basic respect and kindness. I'm sure people will argue against me saying that you need to take responsibility as a father, but I just disagree. Again, what I do think you need to do is take responsibility as an adult and temporary caretaker and not shun or neglect any kid that is under your temporary supervision. So are you basically saying that for the single mom who could be seriously ill, the best option was to let the daughter go into foster care instead of contacting the paternal grandparents? Get out of here. This man is 29 years old. If he doesn't want to be a dad, he can move out. But the grandparents do not suck for taking in the kid. Okay, so nobody is going to like this, but not the jerk. You're saying you made it clear you did not want to be a dad to your ex from the beginning. No one would be this harsh on a mom for adopting out her kid if she didn't want to be a mom. My mom's biological dad didn't want to be a dad back in the 60s, but he was made to, and he treated my mom and her brother like dirt. He was a jerk, yeah, but he wouldn't have been if he wasn't forced to be a dad when he didn't want kids. My mom and uncle were much better off when he signed away his rights as a dad, and my grandma met the only man I recognize as my grandpa. You aren't a jerk for blowing off a kid you didn't even want to have. You didn't want any of this. She made the decision to have the baby, and you made it clear you didn't want to. You messed up at 19. So many people do. I would lawyer up, go to court, and try to get rid of any legal responsibility you have. Also, you mentioned you lived with your parents to help them. If they won't respect your wishes on this, it may be time to branch out on your own. Best of luck. Well, what do you think? Is OP the jerk or not? Please let us know. Oh, I really can't wait to read the comments we get about this one. Natural occurring colors? You got it. In the early 2000s, I worked at a Canadian casino. The place had so many ridiculous rules, including some very particular rules about makeup. The makeup rules were as follows. 1. No fake eyelashes. 2. No fake fingernails or fingernail extensions. 3. No makeup that is not a natural color. The natural color one confused me. What is deemed natural? Who decides what is and isn't natural? I asked my manager for clarification, but she couldn't give me any. Just keep it natural. Use natural occurring colors and you'll be fine. This did not sit well with me. Cue malicious compliance. My aunt has her master's in environmental science. I went to her house one evening and picked her brain about natural occurring colors. She informed me that, scientifically, natural occurring colors are colors that can be found directly in nature. She even showed me a textbook that directly spoke about naturally occurring colors. I borrowed the textbook and highlighted the paragraphs that specified this. Keep in mind, this was well before you could just Google something. The only way to back up the claim was to carry that 750-page textbook to work with me. My next shift, I went all out. Green eyeliner, eggplant-colored eyeshadow, yellow nail polish on one hand and mango-colored on the other hand. I hit the floor to work, and within the first few minutes, I get hauled into my manager's office. OP, what do you think you're doing? You cannot wear these colors. You know our policy states natural occurring colors only when it comes to makeup. Head to the staff bathroom immediately and remove it. Wordlessly, I headed to the staff bathroom, but instead of taking the makeup off, I went to my locker, grabbed the textbook, and marched back to my manager's office. Excuse me, manager? I am wearing naturally occurring colors. Here, look at this textbook that specifically states what naturally occurring are, by definition. I watched her face change as she read the book. First, she looked upset, then worried, and then finally resigned herself to what was happening. OP, do you really need to be that type of person? Me. The type that follows the rules? I thought that's what you wanted me to do. She asked me to head back to the door. For the remaining time I was employed there, I wore whatever color makeup I wanted, and so did almost all of my coworkers. They tried coming out with new rules, but could never get the wording right. Forget stupid rules. Malicious compliance for the win. Am I the jerk for calling out my stepbrother on his Instagram post? I, male 17, and my mom, female 39, moved in with my stepdad, male 46, and stepbrother, who's 15, about 2 years ago. So I have a nice sneaker collection that I have amassed through working a casual job and reselling sneakers. Now stepbrother, who hasn't shown any interest in my sneaker collection previously, I guess is at the age now where it matters more. He's been coming into my room more often to have a look at the collection, and he has also recently grown into the same size as me. This is important. Recently, he's been asking me to let him wear some of the shoes in my collection. I'm opposed to this because 1, they're my shoes. I feel like I should have the final say in who gets to wear them. 2, he's not careful and absolutely trashes his shoes. 3, common sense, but wearing a shoe decreases its value significantly. I like to hold some unworn in case the price spikes. So every time he's asked, I've told him no. Recently, he told me that he has a very important outing he's going to. He's just going out with friends and wants to wear some of the shoes. I told him no, but this time he threw an absolute fit and got stepdad involved. Stepdad told me that I'm being greedy and that I should just let stepbrother wear 1 pair since I have so many. I told him that I value each and every one of them and told him the resale value of the pair, and stepbrother was absolutely shocked. This devolved into an argument about me paying rent, when really I paid for the retail price and not the resale price, which he does not seem to understand. Stepdad and stepbrother left when they realized I wasn't budging. I thought the situation was over. I head off to work on Saturday. However, on the bus ride home, I was scrolling through Instagram and stepbrother posted a picture of himself wearing the exact same shoe that I did not let him wear. I was angry and I commented, "Why are you wearing my shoes?" He deleted my comment, but it seemed like it was too late. Some of his friends saw, which embarrassed him because he had told them that the shoes were his. He told stepdad about what happened, who called me in a fury, asking me why did I have to embarrass his son like that, and that the shoes were worth nothing. I yelled back at him that stepbrother had no business wearing my stuff, and I had the feeling that stepdad encouraged it too, so forget you both, and I hung up. When I got home, I full-on got yelled at. He told me that I should be lucky that I'm allowed to live under this roof. My mom stepped in to defend me, and now they've been arguing for the past day and a half. I asked stepbrother to give me my shoes back, and he did. I told him to never touch my stuff again, and have been holding it up in my room since. Things are really tense in the house now. So Reddit, am I the jerk for not allowing my brother to wear my shoes and then embarrassing him on Instagram when he did so anyways? Not the jerk. Your stepdad sounds horrible. You're 17. He shouldn't be demanding rent or threatening to throw you out. It's his job as the parent to provide housing. Your stepbrother deserved to be called out. He stole something to pass off as his own, and it's his own fault that he got negative reactions when the truth was out. Also, OP should consider buying a doorknob with a lock and key or an electronic lock, something he can lock up while he's not there. Something tells me stepdad is the type of guy who would lose his crap if he did this. He very much seems like a "you don't get to lock your door in my house" kind of guy. Tell him if he wants to start charging you rent, you're gonna start charging his son with theft. He knew you were part of the package when he married your mom and moved you into his house. You're 17. They can't charge you rent legally. Your stepdad is an all-around jerk, in this case at least. Maybe he should encourage his son to work for what he wants rather than stealing it. Am I the jerk for not giving my sister alone time and saying she can leave? I'm 26 and Anna is 30. My sister Anna lives in a different state, used to live with her husband but got divorced last year and said she was feeling lonely and misses us, so she came over for 2 weeks. She wanted to spend a week at my place and a week at our mom's, but we eventually agreed on 4 days at mine. So Anna arrived a couple days ago and yesterday asked me if we could let her have some time to herself. She had caught up with an old friend and wanted to invite him over, so if me and my husband could give her a few hours in the evening, she said to go for a movie and she'd pay for the tickets. I told her no, we're not planning on going anywhere that night. Anna kept insisting that she needed some alone time and it was only for a few hours. My husband overheard some of this. We were getting kinda loud. So he told her that she needs to stop pushing me and we won't be going anywhere. Anna got pretty mad and said that we were being petty for the sake of it and didn't understand she was going through a hard time. I'd had enough, so I told her this is our house, not hers, and if she has an issue, she's free to leave. We didn't talk for a bit after that, but later she said she talked to mom and is going over to her place earlier, as it's obvious I don't want her around, and left last night. Was I just being difficult? Am I the jerk? Not the jerk. If she really wants to get jiggy with it, she can go to a motel. I gave you a $50 discount and you're still not happy? I used to work at a call center for a large Canadian telecommunications company. They are a service provider for TV, internet, home phones, and cell phones. I was a customer care agent, and at the time, I was working in the end of promotions department. I'd be the person you speak with when your 1 or 2 year discount was set to expire. I had been through many different departments before I was moved to the end of promotion team, so I had access to multiple discounts a regular care agent wouldn't have access to because they never changed my authorization when I was moved to the new department. This allowed me to bend the rules quite a bit when it came to renewing promotions for some customers. Now, most care agents have limited discounts they can give. Typically, the system would generate a discount for a customer account based on their tenure and services with us. That's what the company claimed, which I find to be BS, as I've seen accounts that were created back in '99 that would be tagged for only $10 off, and sometimes nothing at all, and they would have to pay in-market rates. This is where my access level came in handy. If I spoke with a customer who was super polite and gave me no trouble or stress, I would apply a better discount than what was originally tagged, especially if I see they've been with us for years and even sometimes decades. Example, tagged for $20 off. Give them $35 or $40 off instead. Now, the company always claimed to keep track if we apply discounts that a customer wouldn't be eligible for, but I think that was also BS because I did this to many accounts and it never came up during meetings with my manager. So one day I get a call, a customer that's been with the company for a year or two. Let's call him Mark. So Mark's promotion is coming to an end pretty soon and he's looking to get a new one and at the same time upgrade his services. He was on a mid-tier TV package and had 500 megabit unlimited internet. If I recall, he was probably paying around $140 per month. He wanted to move up to our highest TV package and our gigabit internet plan, which is the highest you can get for both TV and internet with this company. And this said company is not a budget service provider, so typically that combination of products would cost around $180 before taxes, and the price just climbs up depending on how many boxes you have for the TV, if you have a home phone, and if you have any extra TV add-ons. So I tell him I will gladly look into it and place him on hold. Since he was very polite and I was in a good mood, I was happy to bend the rules for him, especially after seeing he was only tagged for a $15 discount. He had a $25 discount before, so he would have been paying $10 more if he wanted to keep his services the same, and definitely a whole lot more if he upgraded to the highest package. So eventually, I come back to him with a $50 discount for 1 year. He will still be paying more for making that change, but it's a whole lot better than the $15 off that he was supposed to get initially. Now, all of a sudden, his attitude and tone does a complete 180. He starts getting angry and starts getting rude. He was talking as if he thought I was joking when I said $50 is the most we could give him. He went on a rant about how he's been with us for so many years and how he deserves to pay less than what he was paying before, and on top of that, get upgraded services. I explained that unfortunately, because he is upgrading to our highest packages, that the increase in price is inevitable. I informed him that if he wanted to, the same discount could be applied to his current services and he'd be saving $25 more than what he's been paying. Then he pulls the same card I hear so often, like, "Well, my friend has that package and is only paying $80. Or, "I see newer customers getting it for so much less." Which in most cases, sure, it can happen. But with the combination of products he has, I know 100% he was just pulling these prices out of nowhere. He got angrier and was demanding that he gets a better discount. And on top of that, he wanted the Crave/Movies/HBO add-on, which costs $19.99, for free for a year, on top of that for wasting his time. I start to get frustrated and explained once again that it is not something we can do, and the $50 is the best we can offer. He asks to speak to retention, which at the time was the end of promotion department, and I explained that he's already speaking with them. He starts to lose it and says he wants to speak to a manager because he wants to pay what he feels like he should pay based on his tenure, which again was only around 2 years, which may seem like a long time, but in this kind of industry, it doesn't really mean much. We do have a dedicated team of managers that take calls when a customer is getting crazy. Their primary goal is just to defuse the situation, but they are not there to give better discounts if we already went through the best options, and they always made that very clear. I explained that a manager cannot provide a better discount, but I can still transfer him to one, as it is a company policy to get them to a manager if they request one, no matter what. So I place him on hold, and what we do is speak to the manager on the line first to explain the situation and the options we as an agent went through before escalating, and then they take the call from there. Usually you're supposed to disconnect from the call once you patch the customer through, but sometimes I like to stick around and mute myself just to listen to the manager tell the customer the exact same thing I already told them. Their reactions are usually priceless. So I explained to the manager, we'll call him Fred, that I had already offered the customer a way better discount than what we had before. I was worried that they would question why or how I gave them more than what we were tagged for, but this manager didn't seem to care. I explained how he had wanted to pay less than what he used to pay while upgrading to our highest package, and now on top of that have a $20 add-on given to him for free for a year. Fred scoffs because they understand how ridiculous that was and told me to patch him through. I add Mark to the call, introduce him to Fred, and explain that they will take the call from there. Now, all of a sudden, he's acting very polite again and says, "Oh, thank you so much, OP. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Take care." And continues this act while he talks to the manager as if he wasn't just screaming at the top of his lungs at me moments ago. I stick around to hear the conversation play out. Fred does a quick rundown of what Mark was asking us to do just to make sure nothing was missed, and Mark says, "Yup, that all sounds right to me." Then Fred pretty much tells him what he is asking for cannot be done, and that I had already offered the best discount we can provide, and explained that most customers pay way more for what he is being upgraded to. He starts getting angry again and starts yelling that he is being mistreated as a long-term customer and is threatening to cancel all of his services with us and move to a competitor. Fred says he's sorry he feels that way and that if he would like to, they can start the cancellation procedure for him. Mark had had enough and hung up right after. I got a kick from hearing that and went on with my day. A month goes by. I'm taking calls and having a good day. It's slow, not a lot of callers, but the ones I do get have been very nice. And suddenly, a call comes in. The account pops up. I do a quick look over the account summary and see the customer's name. It looks familiar. I check the account's previous interactions and see mine and Fred's from a month ago. A big smile goes across my face as I am speaking to none other than Mark, calling us back again. Now, this kind of thing is very rare. With a company this big, we typically have a lot of callers and a lot of employees, so it's extremely uncommon that I speak to the same person more than once. I'm thinking because it was a slow day, they had given early leave to the agents who wanted it, so there must not have been a lot of agents online taking calls, thus having this call routed to me since I wasn't available. I do the standard greeting. "Thank you for calling, how can I help?" But in the inside, I've got a grin on my face because I know he's most likely calling us back because his discount had expired and his price has gone up. He's either calling to cancel or to try and get a discount again. I was right on the nose with that one. He calls saying that his discount has expired and he's looking to get a new one. Now, Mark didn't seem to recognize that he was talking to me again. He thought I was just a different agent because he mentioned he was given an offer from someone about a month ago that he was looking to accept. Here's where the malicious compliance comes in. As per our last call, you said you wanted a discount based off your tenure. Sure thing. As a matter of fact, the system has already generated a whopping $15 off based on that. I explained that unfortunately, because he's calling after his discount has ended, the original discount we had offered is now expired, and now we only have a $15 discount available. He starts to lose it again. Now, in some cases, this actually does happen, where if a discount isn't accepted before the other one expires, the new offer also expires and cannot be added. I can agree, it's some slimy stuff that this company does so they can get more money. In this case, because the original $50 discount was never supposed to be given in the first place, I was able to say this and only offer what he was really tagged for. Once again, he begins to lose it. It plays out the same as it did before. I explain that this is the best we can offer. He throws a fit, wants to speak to a manager. Again, managers are not there to apply better discounts. Sometimes we do have something called a documented promise, where if in the notes someone was offered something, say $50 off, and it didn't go through, we can still apply it. He could have lied and said he accepted it and it never went through, and the documented promise policy would have made it so that we had to give him that discount. In this case, because Fred and I both wrote in the notes that he declined that offer, it was gone for good. I once again transfer him to a manager and stick around to hear the fallout. The manager did not budge, told him the same thing, that $15 off was the only option, and once again, it ends with him hanging up. I unfortunately never figured out what happened with Mark's account, but here's what could have happened. 1. He's still paying the in-market price for his services, which is a lot more than what he was paying before. 2. He accepted the $15 off and is still paying more than before. 3. He canceled with us and moved to a competitor. One less problematic, rude, and entitled customer. You want a ticket? Fine, you get a ticket. I work at a big online company that does lead generation for real estate. And prior to lockdown, I was working on our tech support team. But for one reason or another, not relevant to this post, they decided to move me and my teammates to the success team, a similar job but less techy. This happened on March 16th, the day we became work from home. Now, I realized pretty early on that I was never actually removed from any of the support roles' access. I could still view things I shouldn't, like, say, how many tickets they had open. In my day, we would finish all of our tickets in a day, to the point where we would watch Netflix and fight over inbound calls. At this time, they had over 3,000 open tickets. I'm a very nice person, very customer-oriented, so instead of adding to the ticket queue and making the customer wait a month or two for an answer, if they had called into the success team, I would try to resolve their issue now if I could, instead of sending them to the support team like I was technically supposed to for tech support. But not this customer. This customer called in screaming, and I'm good with de-escalation. I am. I tried to explain that I could help if she had let me. I tried to explain that I used to be part of the tech team. Heck, I even tried giving her their phone number, because that is a faster way of getting help. But no, she just kept screaming at me to put a ticket in for her because she's having notification issues and she needs a ticket put in because her notifications aren't working. Literally broken record style. Why she couldn't put the ticket in herself, I have no idea. But you know what, ma'am? Sure, absolutely. There you go. I just put that ticket in and I'm sure the tech team will get to it as soon as they can. They were 6 weeks behind in answering tickets at that point. I have no idea what happened beyond that since it is a fairly big company, but I'm sure she called and screamed at someone else when the ticket wasn't answered right away. Still made me laugh though, because her issue was a fairly easy one to fix that I could actually have fixed for her in about 5 minutes if she'd have let me. But instead, I did what she asked and put in a ticket. Support our channel by joining as a member today, and we'll give you a shout out in our next video. Or come watch this video next. You won't believe what Karen does in that one.